And some get reaction right now. We have retired U.S. Air Force Brigadier General and Newsmax contributor Blaine Holt. Happy Sunday, my friend. A lot to talk about here. President Trump now issuing this ultimatum to Iran over whether or not they open up that Strait of Hormuz, or potentially they could hit the power structure in Iran. You and I have talked about this before. Is this a step that President Trump is willing to take?
I think he is, in that he's discussing a lot of option sets that he has before him. If I was advising the president right now, I would say, look, this is correct. We've got to get the straits opened, whether by brute force or some other means. However, when we talk about what we're going to do infrastructure-wise to Iran, we've got to protect the population. So if it's going to take away desalination plants, if it's going to take the means of food and water, we can't do that, because the last thing we want to do is blunt a revolution when we say we're with the Iranian people. So it's a lot of sticky wickets to navigate here, John. But again, the straits, job one, it has to be done now.
So now, if Trump were to follow through on this, would he literally be wiping Iran off the map if he takes out their power infrastructure?
He would create chaos. There's no question about that. I am certain that they have modeled what those option sets look like for the president, out of the Pentagon, and what is likely to follow on certain actions. And so I am confident that he has all the information before him. But again, this is a really dangerous set of circumstances and a potential for escalation in the region that we don't want to see.
Exactly. And then there's 2,500 Marines that are headed to the Middle East for missions connected to that Strait of Hormuz. This mission being led by the USS Boxer. What's the likelihood, though, that boots will be on the ground? Do you anticipate this coming?
I can actually see a scenario where we may have to secure Karg Island for world security.
Yeah.
There's something bigger that's looming as a threat than oil and oil markets. It is sulfur and urea, and they're not getting out of the Gulf. A third of the world's fertilizer production comes out of the Gulf at a time when Australia just lost its #1 producer of fertilizer. Mm-hmm. The third world is in planting season right now, and we could say, the third world's been through this. Wait a minute, all those groceries go to Europe. And it doesn't matter how much money you have if you can't see anything on the shelf to buy.
If they were to take Karg Island, I know we talked about this earlier this week. Is it a break it, you bought it type situation? If the U.S. were to go in there, are we going to have troops on the ground to maintain it?
Oh, we would. If we have to secure it, we're going to have to do that. But then, again, I don't see a reverse gear on getting rid of the regime in Iran. If you leave them standing, you'll have generations of revenge-minded mullahs forever and terror cells to deal with.
Yeah.
Same time, if you turn your backs on the Iranian people who said, wait a minute, you said you'd help us, and now we're still under a police state. So there's no reverse gear. Iran is going to have to be conquered and put into the hands of the Iranian people. And then once that happens, I imagine there's no need for us to be at Karg at all.
Iran also fired these 2 missiles towards the joint UK-US military base. This was thousands of miles away on the island of Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. I mean, this was the furthest that they were able to launch a missile. Should we be concerned about that?
Not yet. Maybe. There's an investigation required here. So I'm gonna keep an open mind on this particular issue because it breaks a pattern. Iran has admitted to every single strike that it's done so far except for this one. So I don't know what the motivations would be from some other force. All I can tell you is the forensics for me are not in yet. I think we're just lunging at this as it's a natural. This is exactly what happened. But I'm troubled by the break in that pattern, and I'm also troubled by that type of weaponry out of nowhere just becoming available.
Are you suggesting that another country might have fired that missile?
I am. I'm saying that there's a possibility of that because there's going to be agent provocateurs all over the place with a lot of different agendas. And let's not forget that the beautiful kids at Lloyd's of London attempted a financial shutdown of the Straits of Hormuz. We have the UK that denied us access to use of Diego Garcia initially and wouldn't let us use our bases in Glasgow. In other words, I'm not accusing the UK of anything, but what I am saying is that there are many agendas all over this world that revolve around the Middle East. And when you break a pattern like this, I'm certain that U.S. intelligence is going through this at the speed of heat for the president.
Information, truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.